Hello, welcome back to Armchair Armory. Am I a bit out of focus? I'm not sure. I can't tell. Maybe. Oh well. I don't know how to fix it. But anyway, apologies. Welcome back to Armchair Armory. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been online doing a video. Mainly obviously because there's been no football. Arsenal have not been on TV for the past week. They've been some would say jollying it up in Dubai, although it doesn't seem like they have been jollying it up. It's been it's going from bad to worse. So I thought I'd do something different this time around. It might be something I might do in the future. Who knows? We'll see how it goes. Mainly because the viewership on the previews doesn't do as well as the reactions. And I felt like it was about time to shake things up a little bit. So, and also because of everything that's going on at the moment, I feel like it probably makes more sense for me to, not advertise this as a what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think. My brain's not working. To advertise this as a preview for Leicester. It's in the title, which I will be talking about when I get towards the end of this, but I mainly wanted to talk about all the drama that's been going on since the loss to Newcastle in that second leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. My overarching thoughts of everything that's happened, before I sort of go through that, is the club have really let us down. I don't want to swear, but they've really buggered us up. They've really buggered up here, really, royally. I mean, it was pretty bad under Arsene Wenger, particularly towards the end, and obviously Wenger was a part of that as well. But this is unbelievable. We don't sign anybody in January. Number one. This, give or take the summer, like I didn't actually think the summer was that bad. I thought we could have done with signing a forward player, preferably a striker, but we didn't. And now, we're reaping what we sow in terms of that. I don't think Marino and Calafiori are bad signings as such. I think both of them have had in different seasons so far, and that's probably down to embedding themselves into the team, a little bit of injury, particularly in the Calafiori camp. Sterling has been a disaster, which I'll come on in a minute about that. But yeah, Sterling has been an absolute disaster, and I don't know where to start. And I still think there's a good player in Raheem Sterling there. I still have faith that hopefully somewhere down the line with the rest of this season, whatever we make of it, surely he's got to contribute at some point. But yeah, I was able to sort of look past the summer. I was expecting us to sign a striker. I was expecting us to sign some backup for Saka and Martinelli. I know we've got Trossard for the left, but still, particularly for the right-hand side, I was expecting us to at least sign a backup for Saka. We didn't do it. We sort of did, because we signed Sterling, but Sterling was a bit of a panic buy. I was expecting there to be a bit more strategy on that side of things. We go into the season, injury hit, suspension hit, bad performances scattered here and there. Particularly, you're thinking in the league, you're thinking Bournemouth away, even though we were down to 10 men. You're thinking of Newcastle away, Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. I wouldn't necessarily say it was a bad performance against Man United in the FA Cup, but yeah, we're out of those domestic competitions. We're left in the Champions League. I don't know what the score is right now with. Do I even dare check to see what the score is with Liverpool and Everton at Goodison Park right now? I'm assuming it's like 4-0 to Liverpool. Well, it's 2-1 to Liverpool. Looks like they're going to win that. They're going to be 9 points clear tonight, I think. It looks like the league's done. I think the league has been done probably since November, December. And now, on top of that, we lost Gabriel Martinelli in the loss to Newcastle, hamstring injury. And then we're hearing today, well, yesterday, and sort of confirmed today by, people like David Ornstein and people like that, that Kai Havertz is now out for the rest of the season with a torn hamstring. We're fucked. I didn't want to swear, but yeah, that's the season done. Season is over. Liverpool have won the league. We're not going to get any further than the quarterfinals. I said this after Newcastle. I don't think if anything, depending on who we draw, I don't see us getting past the quarterfinals. If we draw Juventus, I'm even skeptical as whether, especially now with the squad we have, whether we'll get past the round of 16. Yeah, this is unbelievable. And it's very hard not to. I think collectively, this is from the Cronkies, whoever's dealing with the transfers, whoever's dealing with the scouting, down to Arteta. They're all culpable in some way. I don't necessarily buy the idea. I mean, I think the reason why there's people that say, I've been watching The Usual Suspects, not the film, The Usual Suspects that go on about this, go on about the Arteta thing constantly. I stand by what I've said pretty much all season, or what I've said pretty much since Arteta came in, that the reason why these people immediately go to Arteta is because they never liked him in the first place. They are deeply offended that the club would go on a novice, would offer a job to a novice, and yeah, they don't like the fact that he's the manager. That they're the people that say that I will stand. This is a hill I'm going to die on. That say they want the best for Arsenal, because they think that we would do better with a more experienced manager. That's fine. That's an opinion you can have. But when it becomes to the point of where your every one of your opinions is based off of that small margin, i.e., anything that Arteta does, I'm just going to say that he should be sacked, or anything that happens that's negative to the club, I'm just going to say sack Arteta. You're not really thinking critically, in my opinion. He does have to take some blame. I'm not going to sit here and say that he, in January, didn't turn. I mean, he was saying it publicly. I'm not going to sit here and say that he didn't want an extra forward player. I'm not going to say that. The one thing I will say is that I think with players like Saka, to some extent Martinelli as well, Havertz definitely as well, they've been overplayed. They've been playing 90 minutes week in, week out, and if you include the fact that some of these players went to the Euros, I think Havertz played pretty much every game for Germany as long as they were in the competition. Saka went all the way to the final with England. It was bound to happen at some point, and we were incredibly lucky last season with the injuries that we had. Incredibly lucky with the injuries that we had, with the lack of injuries, I should say, that we had. And there was a point, to be fair, where I was thinking to myself, at some point that luck will run out, and this season has been that point. I'm starting to get the feeling that from the transfer point of view, that the Edu departure is bigger than people are making it out to be. I think that's probably one of the reasons why we're in the situation we're in. I'm not saying that Edu was the be all and end all and that we wouldn't sign anyone without him. I'm just saying I think that destabilized the whole outfit, the recruitment outfit, and we've got this guy Jason Ato that seems a little bit. I mean, I'm just going by what other people say, but it seems like he's a little bit of begins with a P. I'm not going to say it. Yeah, it's frustrating, man. It's really, really frustrating, because I had reasonably high hopes at the start of the season, and as I've always said, I didn't go into the season thinking yeah, we're going to win everything, or we're definitely going to win the league. I thought we'd probably give more of an account of ourselves than we did last season, and we did really well last season to take City all the way to the last day. However, it just hasn't really panned out like that. I think and this is another thing I would say in terms of the arguing and the discussion around this, is that it always seems to be we have to find something to scapegoat, or we have to find something to pin on. Two things can be right at the same time. I think it's a collective failure from the club as a whole, and that goes from Arteta all the way up to Stan and Josh Kroenke. Arteta in terms of, the overplaying of some players, and to some extent, I can imagine he's been quite stubborn in terms of the transfer targets. I suppose I would be if my only option was Alvaro Morata. And this is the other thing as well that I find hilarious about fans, is that they're saying anybody could come in, or you could just do a loan, blah, 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 all that rubbish. I'm pretty sure that if Alvaro Morata, if the club put out, we've signed Alvaro Morata from wherever he is at the moment, he's a bit of a journeyman, so I have no idea where he is at the moment, there would be fans going mental. And we know who they are. They'd be going mental. They'd be going mental if we signed Morata. So I get that. You want to get the players that you need, or the players that you've sought after. You want to get, like, as Arteta says, players that will what's the word he used? Benefit the team. But in the situation that we're in at the moment, we did need something. I don't know how we went through this whole window after Gabriel Jesus went down as well. Saka first, obviously, and then Gabriel Jesus. Nothing happened. I have no idea how they've managed to just let that go. Yeah, it's frustrating. And I feel like this is going to be be prepared, Gooners, because this is going to be a very, very long rest of the season. Because I have a feeling every single game is going to be like Wenger, Emery time, where you don't know whether we're going to win the game or not. And if that happens, if it affects the performances on the pitch, it means we're going to fall down the table. Doesn't look like we're going to win any trophies this season. It means we're going to probably fall down the table. And if we fall out of the top four, that's when, the questions need to start being asked of the manager. And I'm not saying that things would improve if we did change manager. I'm not saying that at all. It's just questions would need to be asked. I'm not going to get too hung up on that, because it's a bit stupid of me to be like, oh yeah, well, this is going to happen, because obviously there's like 15 games left of the season. 7 in the Champions League if you go all the way to the final. So who knows? But I think we're going to have to be. I have a feeling we're going to have to be Greece from Euro 2004 for the rest of the season, because we're going into this final stretch of the season now, heading towards the run-in of the Premier League and the final stages of the Champions League. The knockout stages of the Champions League, I should say. We're going into this with Trossard, Sterling, and Nwaneri as our only attackers. Now, you can't, Trossard's done okay this season. Don't get me wrong, Trossard's done all right. Sterling, as I said earlier, is somehow, I don't know what's happened to him. He's just a shadow of the player he once was. Slows the play down every single time he gets the ball. Indecisive when he gets into a position to make an attacking play into the box or something like that. I don't know. He's gone off the boil, and he's probably been off the boil since he left Man City, to be fair, even at Chelsea. And then you've got Ethan Nwaneri that's shown promise, but it's a lot to give a young kid like that, 17, 18, however old he is, and be like, you're going to lead the line, son, for the rest of the season. It's just not viable, to be honest. So and that's not to talk of any other injuries we might get in the midfield or the defence. So I think at this stage we've got to cut our losses. There's not much we can do about it. If the club's writing off the season now and saying, they came out and said we've got to prepare Havertz to be fit for the 25-26 season, that's us over. That's me done. I mean, I'll support the team. as always, on match days, on the when they're on TV, obviously. I will support and continue doing these for the rest of the season, but I don't hold much hope, put it that way. And some people might think, oh yeah, but Dan, you're being entitled. You're being an entitled Arsenal fan. I don't think so. I always expect us to try and do as best as we can. But when the what's the word? The odds are stacked against you. It's better to be realistic than be a fool. And I feel like it's just better for me to say, let's just see what happens, rather than sit here and shout and scream and talk about how everyone's personally hurt me or whatever. There's no point. If there's not much we can there's not much we can do about it, unfortunately. So fucked. It's unbelievable. It's basically been sod's law this season. Every key player we've had has now gone down injured. I find it funny how the same people that said Havertz is the worst player in the world are now crying because Havertz is injured. I thought those people would be you shouldn't celebrate an injury, but there are some sick bastards out there that would celebrate an injury to Havertz. Yeah, it's a shame. There's so much going wrong right now, and this is why I'm saying I think the Edu thing is bigger than people are making it out to be, because if things get worse, Arteta's going to be sacked, no doubt about it. If things get worse on the pitch, he's definitely going to be sacked. If not, we're going to start seeing what we saw, particularly towards the end of Wenger. I can imagine we're going to see a lot of protests, and we're going to see a lot of people going on the head of the fan bases, the head of the fan base platform, and saying Arteta out and all that sort of stuff. It seems like at the moment it's a little bit inevitable that this is probably the beginning of the end. I know someone on that famous platform said that, but yeah, it feels like it's not going very well at the moment, both off the pitch and on the pitch. I wouldn't say it's awful on the pitch, but yeah, it's not been great this season. Not been great. Yeah. Yeah. It's depressing, put it that way. After the sort of euphoric nature of yes, I know there was a bit of an anticlimax because we didn't win the league, but after everything that happened last season, or the past 2 seasons, to sort of come back to square one is a little bit demoralizing, because it does feel a little bit like we've taken a step back, both transfer policy wise and footballing wise. We've taken a little bit of a step back, but yeah, Leicester, I am a little bit intrigued to see what Arteta's going to do in terms of his starting lineup, because he's not got much choice now, obviously, as I just mentioned. And also, it's one of those ones where it's every game you're going to be wondering who's going to be the next player to go down injured, because these players are going to be playing a lot of football for the next 3 months. They're going to be playing a lot of football, particularly those front three. If they don't get injured, they're going to be playing a lot of football. But yeah, I'll be interested to see what he goes with. I think it probably will be Havertz. It will be Sterling, Trossard and Nwaneri as the front three. I think at the moment we're all right midfield and defence-wise. Ben White's going to be back as well. I can imagine he'll be on the bench on Saturday. Leicester have been very, very bad the past. They've had a few good results here and there. They've had a few good results here and there. Like they beat Tottenham, which we always love to see. But yeah, they've not been. Yeah, they've since Ruud van Nistelrooy has taken over. I think they've been worse than when Steve Cooper was their manager. They've lost 4 out of 5, and the only victory they've had in that last 5 was against Spurs. I don't actually. Let me have a look in the Premier League website what our record is against them. So we've beaten them the last 5 times we played them. So that's good, I suppose. I think even in that season they won the league, we beat them twice that season. So yeah. So that's in our favour, I suppose. But because we're so depleted and we're so literally we've basically got brittle bones disease at the moment, this team, where anything could happen. Like every game between now and the end of the season is going to be on a knife edge, essentially. I have a feeling we're going to be drawing and losing a lot more games. Because if we can't score now, we're definitely not going to score very much going forward. And I'm sorry to be defeatist or pessimistic, but that's just the way I see it. I know we managed to put 5 past Man City, but we had Havertz in the team then. And, you know, we put 5 past teams across the season, and we had Saka in the team then. So, yeah, I mean, the good thing is that Martinelli is only probably going to be out until end of February, I'd say. I don't think Saka's going to be back, but they're saying early March Saka will be back. By then, it will probably be too late. I mean, it's already too late now. I mean, I think... where are they now? So it's 90 plus 4 at Goodison Park. Liverpool's still 2-1 up. Have been pretty much 2-1 up since the 73rd minute. Yeah, they've won the league. They've definitely won the league. I think it's done. Yeah, and as now with all the injuries, it's over. In the words of Joey Diaz, it's over. It's over. You're not doing that no more. It's over. It's over. Yeah. Yep, it's over. Nothing much more we can do about it. Well, I'm going to leave it there, I think. I'm going to be back after the game on Saturday. Let's see what happens. Because, yeah, it's basically potluck until now, but between now and the end of the season. That's all I can say. Like and subscribe if you can be bothered. Take care and stay safe.